Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Bergio, Mark Novak, episode 330. Selling after Christmas could be a mistake. Big call. Mark, talk us about why we believe that.
Michael, thank you very much. We were discussing using each other's names is a very nice endorsement this morning. Well, I think you must have said my name about 50 times and yours about 50. In sales, very important. People love hearing their name, Michael.
I 100% agree with you, Mark. And also just start adding Merry Christmas onto the end of your calls. I started doing it the last 2 days and it just has changed the vibe of the call. People love hearing Happy Christmas, speak to you after Christmas, have a great Christmas. I don't think it's too early to start it. I think everyone out there, start adding that to your calls. I think we'll just make a happier call, Mark.
Well said, Michael. Well said, Michael. So this morning, Michael, we're talking about a pretty hot topic. So how many days till Christmas?
About, what's that, 10, 12, about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks, 14 days.
14 days till Christmas. And people have got the opportunity to sell now. Something that's really important is selling doesn't have to be a circus. It doesn't have to be a 4-week auction with furniture, with a slow-walking real estate agent in a movie clip, and all that pressure. It doesn't have to be that way. Selling can be done very innocently. It can be done in non-traditional methods. It can be done in traditional methods to database clients. But there is a magic, and there is a magic in the next 14 days that people can tap into. And that magic they can tap into is not hard to do if you've got a great real estate agent in your pocket, Michael.
It's true, because you want to be selling your property in isolation, not competition. So, and the easiest way to think about it, if you were selling a 4-bedroom home and there were only 2 others on the market compared to 15 others on the market, you'd have a far better chance of getting a better price, creating that competition. Because we find a lot of the time during the year, there's roughly the same amount of buyers consistently coming through our open home. So let's say there's 15 buyers and they're competing over 3 properties compared to 15 buyers competing over 15 properties. They have more choice. Now, where we come up with this, I track the amount of properties on the market, Northern Beaches.
I love this. I love these figures. I love this tracking. It's one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite things that you do.
Thank you. Every week.
Michael.
So, Mark, the Northern Beaches, this time we go by trends, and we've seen this over the last 5 years since I've been tracking it, or 6 years. So basically, December 2019, there were 369 properties for sale.
Show us your spreadsheet.
You say across the Northern Beaches, and then in February it jumped up to 620. So the premise there.
That's your spreadsheet. So you've been running that spreadsheet. You've been running that spreadsheet for 6 years, and every week or fortnight?
Every week. So there was a jump from 370 properties up to 620. So that's a perfect supply and demand. Christmas is a perfect time to be getting your property ready, showing buyers through, because we all know there's a big sentiment of people out there who want to be bought before Christmas, who want to be sold before Christmas, and you don't want your property to be there when you got 20 other properties on the market, Mark.
Well, back to that little spreadsheet that you do.
I'll send it. I'll send it so I can bring it up.
So it's actually got, so everyone knows, we've got in our catchment, so we're in the Northern Beaches of Sydney. So in our catchment of the Northern Beaches, there's about 111,000 houses and units and townhouses and commercial properties. So what we had trouble with is we had trouble with remembering that our numbers, like our total numbers, and none of the portals or no one actually officially tracks it. So Michael started to track it. And what's interesting and what we've tracked is we've started to track our local trends, which tend to be nationwide and Sydney-wide as well. Here it is.
Yeah.
So what we're over to you,
Yep.
Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So as you can see, the bottom market share, real commercial is in blue, and
Thanks,
you can
Michael.
see you can see for sale, Novak, obviously our listings, for lease, and for sale, for lease, and our properties. How many we got for sale and lease? And in the red is realestate.com. This is a great tool when obviously that's so annoying, all those pop-ups. Anyway, it's a great tool. So let's fast forward. 2016, I started this. So I was pretty smart from day one, if I don't say so myself. And I had 2-3 years prior, but we lost it with a virus. Okay, so let's go to, and this is where you can see there's no inflation on our numbers. We love giving you the raw. Raw. Okay, so December 19, 370, but all through December, it went from 500 to 370. Yes, we understand it's a quieter time of year, but it's quieter because most agents shut down and close because they tell you it's quiet, but it's not. We are open every December, every Christmas, and we do so many deals. Our inquiries are high. The views on realestate.com are high. It's just a false little reality that agents say it's quiet so they can go on their Europe holiday. Okay, and then we jump to February, 620. So if you can imagine, there's so many categories of properties within that mark. So it very much could be only 3 or 4 properties, houses in DY in December, and then there's 10 in February, and there's so much variety. So that's where we're coming from.
So data's great, but what you do with it is really important. How you read it is really important. So guys and girls, this is how we read what Michael's put together on tracking. Whenever we've observed, and this happens, whenever we've observed stock levels in our marketplace doubling, what that means is there's 500 properties for sale in the Northern Beaches. When it goes to 1,000 properties in the Northern Beaches, it swings from a seller's market to a buyer's market. What that actually means is sometimes prices are leveling off, or sometimes prices are even dropping. Why? Because when you're selling your property, when there's a lot of competition, you're reducing your price to get it sold. When you're selling your property, and there is no competition, a serious lack of competition, then your price is high. So, all in all, if you are going to be selling your property in the next 3 months, whack it on the market right now while there is no properties on the market, while there are all the properties coming off the market, while buyers are absolutely desperate to buy something, and you will get a good price. I don't know if stock levels in February and March next year are going to be more than this or less, but if there's a lot of properties, if there's an influx of properties to come on the market in February, because that's when people want to start auctioning their properties, that could mean you're not selling for as much as you're selling for right now. And I want to say g'day to Lesio. Good morning. Michelle, legend, how are you? And same out in Forbes. We don't close over Christmas for 2 weeks. It's good for us. Our vendors, always plenty of business. You know what?
Yep.
If you need a holiday, our real estate agents, take a holiday. But if you can service the community through this period, your seller will be the winner. But we've got to communicate to our sellers that they are winners, and that's what today's about.
It's true. So this would be the action plan if I'm a vendor out there, or even an agent for listings at the moment. So vendor, you're thinking about selling. I would prepare the property for sale. I would get your professional photography. I would get your floor plans.
Right now.
I'd contact the agent saying, I want to sell.
Right now.
I would get the agency agreement, get the contract of sale. Then I would say I would either do 2 ways, depending what type of property it is. If it's an auction property, then I would do it differently. But I would say to the agent, let's whack it up on your website. I want you to start calling all your hot buyers, bringing them through, dangling the carrot that we're going to be coming live in January, February with a big marketing campaign, big auction campaign. But if they offer
a great deadline to work to,
a great price now, we would sell. If you're worrying because you haven't bought, I would put in a 12-week settlement in the contract that you have the ability to bring forward. But here's a tip for you guys. Don't put in the contract 12-week settlement. Tell the agent you want a 12-week settlement. I would leave it as a negotiating tool for when you have a buyer, because a lot of the time a buyer will want a longer settlement and they always assume the owner won't. So a lot of the time when I'm an agent, I'm negotiating. Let's say the owner wanted the 12 weeks, needed the 12-week settlement. And let's say we're a couple grand away or 10 grand, 20 grand away from the sale price. I will go to the buyer. If you can come up that extra 20 grand, we can do a 12-week settlement for you. The owner's happy to do it. And they're like, oh, that would work really well because I got to sell my property. Yes, we will do it. And that's how you'd get it done and get a great price before Christmas.
Rush in now to get your place sold and slow to move out. Rush in to get it sold and sleepy slow to move out. There's no rush to move out, but certainly in the next 2 weeks, cracker.
Yeah, and there's no reason you can't go live on realestate.com if you're not doing an auction campaign. Even if you are, those ads last for 45 days. You can always upgrade it. Be online, have that presence. If your property is a new property in December when their stock levels are 50% down, think how many eyeballs are going to see your home. So get it up, get it visible as well, and a super strong social media campaign.
Oh, digital agent. Like my surfboard?
I do. It's gnarly, bro. Gnarly.
Thanks, man.
Anything else you want to add on today? I think that's a big topic, a lot of tip points for people.
People think it's such a big thing to sell their property, and it's as big as it is in your head. It doesn't have to be with staged marketing selling. It doesn't have to be a circus and palaver and whole thing big show to get you sold. Have your price in mind. Have your premium price in mind. Do stage marketing. So do a plan A now, pre-Christmas. If you can get a cracker price. If you don't get a cracker price, I call it price discovery. I call it positioning your property in the market. So if you don't in the next 2 weeks get a diabolical high price, at least you know through price discovery where your property is sitting and how your property sits in the marketplace. If you need to do any work, what you need to do with your marketing, your price. Then when you go into plan B, that may be mid-January or mid-February, you start your auction campaign, you are better equipped.
100%. And I just found this. Rentals properties right now, Northern Beaches for lease, 560. In April, it hit almost 1,100.
No. Everyone dumped.
Everyone dumped. Even July last year, just under 1,100 properties for almost the whole year. I'm looking at 2009.
We always talk about sales. That's a great figure.
Yeah. Thought I should add that in there. And while we're looking at data, let's have a look at
Michael. Data.
Hang on, let me
it's
look.
Very polite using each other's names, isn't it, Michael?
It is, Mark. And then commercial, 140 properties, very, very similar. 140. June had 140. Rentals, 700, and there was 700. So commercial's been very, very stagnant. But that's a wrap. Thanks, Mark. That's a wrap.
That's a great show. Everyone, thanks for watching. Michelle, you're a legend. Merry Christmas. Let's go. Champions. Awesome, anyone. And guys, if you want us to attack a topic, tell us in the comments and we will attack a topic for you in the next coming days. So any topic. We're happy to not talk about real estate.
Yeah, I would love to do sort of 5 guest topics in 5 days. That would be really good. So send it through.
Yeah.
Send it through. You can do it
We should
privately.
get Michelle back on the show as well. I want to know what's happening in Forbes since we last spoke with her.
Also, yeah, 100%. Also, you can recommend your topic privately. If you don't want us to say who told us, you can just say anonymously. But give us topics. Let us know. We'll talk about it.
Like we get people like, you know, the Prime Minister asking us what to talk about and stuff, because they want to do it privately. You know, John McGrath.
And then they want to know what they should do for the
Clinton.
COVID relief. Like, who do you think helped with the recommendations for how
Obama.
real estate should be? Yeah, Trump
Donald
2020.
Trump.
Yeah.
Trump. We're always, Trump's always in the background making comments.
All right, guys.
See you, the beautiful people. Thank you,
Cheers.
Michael.
Thanks, Mark. Bye.
Thanks, Michael. See you, Michael.